Are you avoiding a task or doing everything but what you really should be doing? Our next guest says everybody is guilty of procrastinating a little bit at home at one time or another. But if you realize that you're putting things off more often than getting them done, it's really time to work on it. Diane Lang is a therapist and educator of positive psychology and the author of Creating Balance and Finding Happiness. And you're here to help us get on track.
I'm going to try to.
And we all do procrastinate, don't we?
Yes, even I do. And I teach it and I still do it.
So how do you define procrastination?
It's an avoidance of a task. And what happens is when you do procrastinate a lot, you end up having feelings of guilt, self-doubt, depression, or having chronic procrastination that you're frequently caught in that loop of always procrastinating.
I'm sort of kind of an organized mess, and I only procrastinate because I have so much to do.
Right. Well, you know what? We feel overwhelmed when we have a lot to do and we don't know where to start. And a lot of times we have poor time management skills, and you think, well, I can say yes even when I shouldn't because I don't really have the time to do it, and then we get more overwhelmed. Or with the nurturer, we feel like we can do everything, especially women.
That's me.
Yes, women, I could do everything. You know, I can cook, I can clean, I could take care of the kids, have a full-time job,
right,
and think that we're going to not procrastinate. It's not going to happen. Something has to sacrifice.
All right, so what are some of the reasons we do procrastinate? You just mentioned a couple.
Right.
But difficulty in focusing?
Yes, one of the things that happens is when somebody has problems procrastinating, they usually have a lot of clutter going on. And it could be like what you said, you know, at home, it could be the mess at your office, at your job, at home, or it could be the clutter in your head. And either way, when you have all that emotional baggage or clutter in real life, it causes you to have problems focusing or sleeping. That's a big one. I actually have a friend who has this problem. She has clutter so much of her life that she can't sleep until she gets it done. She just can't even get focused on any other activity. So look what's going on. Are you cluttered emotionally, or are you cluttered throughout your house, your office?
Or both?
Or both. And then, you know, you have a really big procrastination problem and really think, okay, what do I need to get done? But that is definitely an issue with focusing or poor time management.
All right, so just really quickly, how do you overcome that?
Which one?
Both? Difficulty focusing at home and in the head, really.
Well, you really want to ask yourself a few questions. One is, why am I procrastinating? What's going on? Because again, if you're having a lot of clutter that's emotional, and that's like, especially at night, you know, when you go to sleep, your body is physically exhausted, but your mind won't shut off. That means something's going on. You are having some kind of issues, and you can't really get to the root of your procrastination until you know what's going on in your life. So think about it. Am I going through a transition? Did I just go through a breakup, a loss of a job? Whatever it is, because that will be the root of your procrastination. So if you can deal with the issue, then you can get through the procrastination. Is it fear? If you're having fear of failure or fear of success, it could go either way. That can make you procrastinate because it's more comfortable to stay in the zone.
So as soon as you know why you're doing it, then you can overcome it.
Well, you know, it's kind of the same thing as going into like any kind of counseling. Self-awareness is the key. A lot of my clients will not know they're procrastinating. They don't realize they're in denial of their procrastination. So they're not aware that they're avoiding it. And a lot of times once we get to the root of how it's really about failure or success, then they can actually manage how to get through. And they could do that by setting short and long-term goals, which is a big one. And short-term goals and long-term goals are different. Short-term goals would be anything from now to a year. Action plans would be involved with both. But then if you want to do a long-term goal, it would be from 1 year to 5 years. So I recently had a client who had a goal of finding a new job. And in this economy, it takes about a year. So her long-term goal...
Or more.
Yes, that's true. Her long-term goal was to find a job within a year or so. Then we set up short-term goals to get to that. And then the problem is you want to have realistic goals. And you want to have a realistic time frame of goals. Like for my client, she was a single mom with 2 kids. So to have a weekly goal was unrealistic because that would make her feel overwhelmed, anxious, and she'd procrastinate. So we set up her goals to be bi-weekly, and this way she was able to do it. And every time you accomplish a goal, even like a small little baby step, you feel more motivation. It's that positive reinforcement. Oh, I got this done. I can go on to the next goal, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment, which makes us motivated.
It makes you feel good when you say, "Oh, I did this."
Right.
Or you have. I always say, if I can just do this one thing today, I'm going to be so happy.
Well, you know when you have like that to-do list and you check one off and you're like, I did it. That really works. Statistically proven. If you can write down and have like a to-do list and you mark it off, you feel good, and then you can put up something else for the next day. Okay, I got through 1, 2, and 3. Let me see what I can do for tomorrow.
So you add to the list.
Right, and you can always revise your list, and that's a good thing. You don't want to look at it like it's permanent. This is what I put here, I'm stuck. That's not true. You can always change your goals. You can change your action plan to reach your goals, because your goals might change. You might have that long-term goal of a job in a year, but what if you get one in 6 months? Then maybe now your new goal is to get a raise at that job or a promotion. So you want to think, you know, are these goals permanent? No, of course not, which takes away that need to be perfect and control, because you can change it, and that's good too.
And if you can stay focused if you can actually see it on a
Yes.
list.
And if you can see it and you can visualize it, then you can get there. You know, it's really true. You want to visualize your goals. Very important, because if you can see it, and if you can't visualize it, then maybe make yourself one of those collages where you cut out pictures or you draw, depending on what you're good at. I can't draw, so I take those magazines and I put out like a collage of what I picture. Maybe it's my new business, my new office, what would it look like? And this way I can visualize it, I can look at it, I can add to it, and then I can switch it up.
Really quickly, we're running out of time here,
Sure.
but what's the best advice you can give to somebody who really is having difficulty overcoming procrastination?
Really have realistic expectations. Make sure they're realistic for your time frame, and also make sure that you realize that even if you set a goal and you don't get there, it's okay. You can set another goal. Don't give up.
Diane Lang, thanks so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. And up next, there's Double Trouble in the Kitchen. Neil Fuentes and Billy DeCosta are back to share a dish that you can make in just a few minutes. That's when Connecticut Style returns.